We are hearing reports of 2 million new COVID cases in the last 14 days across America. Just yesterday alone, 150,000 new cases were reported in our nation. And it appears as though people are growing desperate, trying to figure out ways to prevent getting the disease and to also fight it off once they get it. What we're hearing now is Ivermectin is being used by many people, saying that it helps treat or prevent people from getting it. Take a listen.
A2.
We're going to take a listen
Mississippi,
at
the hospitals are full. Federal government and charitable groups are now coming in, setting up field hospitals. The huge number of new infections and newly very sick people are just swamping the system. The Mississippi State Department of Health confirming today that, quote, at least 70% of the recent calls to poison control in Mississippi have been related to ingestion of livestock or animal formulations of ivermectin purchased at livestock supply centers. Why are people taking livestock formulations of ivermectin in Mississippi? That's a horse dewormer. Literally, people won't take the vaccine because they're super suspicious of that, but they're taking horse deworming medication. Why, on top of everything else Mississippi has to deal with right now, why are they dealing with this?
We know that our FDA has in many ways failed us by not allowing for the use of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, both of which are used around the world to reduce COVID hospitalizations and deaths.
I pelted them with questions about COVID-19 and the vaccine and therapeutics, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, as well as other proactive treatments and practices were already helping COVID-19 patients all across the country.
On June 5th, Weinstein discussed the benefits of a drug called ivermectin, which can and is around the world used to treat and prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
The state health department confirming that at least one of the beds in the state is right now being taken up by someone who had to be hospitalized. Here's the state health officer of Mississippi today, exasperated.
Please work with your doctor. This is medical treatment. You wouldn't get your chemotherapy at a feed store. I mean, you wouldn't get treat your pneumonia with your animal's medication. It can be dangerous to get the wrong doses of medication, especially for something that's meant for a horse or a cow. But it's really important if people have medical needs, go through your physician or provider.
So that is the latest on how ivermectin has been being used across the country. Ben Dixon and Brother Carmack, I'd love to hear from you guys on this. People using horse dewormer to try and prevent getting COVID or trying to use it to minimize the symptoms that they're experiencing. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Brother Mac, do you want to go first today? We have you on mute, Brother Mac. I'll jump in there while he gets the mute taken off. It's kind of absurd to think that they are so committed to. The best thing I can give you is an example that I was taught at Bethune-Cookman. One of the first lessons they taught us was when it comes down to graduation, never listen to the sidewalk counselors. Never get your advice from the rumor mill. Well, let's escalate that by 10,000 by magnitudes of order in terms of seriousness. When it comes to life or death, the last thing that you want to do is get your information from an entertainment network. Fox News had to defend themselves as an entertainment network in a lawsuit. So be sure when you're talking about life or death, do like the doctor said in the video, listen to your scientists, your doctors, and not a media entertainment complex.
You know, Ben, the other thing is what we have to keep in mind. Who was the person that coined the phrase fake news, right? And so take a look at the people who are absolutely believing this, you know, that they tune into Fox News and just think about what Hannity said. Hannity said that ivermectin has been used across the country. Lil Tucker said it's been used around the world. The FDA comes out, you know, to your point about don't listen to sidewalk counselors. The FDA comes out and says no. The NIH, the National Institute of Health, comes out and says no. The World Health Organization, Lil Tucker, said no. The manufacturer of the drug said no.
That's right.
But these clowns want to now put that information out there, and you have to believe, again, you have to go back, even if you think biblically, to whom much is given, much is required. The platform that these guys, that this organization has, and to put out that type of reckless news without any type of research is absolutely criminal.
Yeah.
Criminal.
You know, I have an interesting story about ivermectin. I was in the sauna at the YMCA a couple of weeks ago, and this guy, he looked like just, you know, kind of a hippie. And he strolls in the sauna, and he was chatty. When I'm in the sauna, I tend to just kind of go into my place of Zen and meditate. But he was just very chatty. And he actually brought up ivermectin to me. I had never heard of it before. And when we walked away from that conversation, I couldn't, for the life of me, remember what the name of the drug was that he was referring to. But he was one of the people who legitimately bought into ivermectin being something that you can take to proactively fight against contracting coronavirus. Now, I have friends who work in holistic spaces who they say, you know, shaka tail mushrooms, turkey tail mushrooms, papaya seeds, things that you can take to boost your immunity. But ivermectin, which has been known to deworm horses, I just feel like this is another level of desperation that we're seeing from people who have bought into not only this lie, but other lies like Biden stealing the election, for example.
That's right.
You know, Georgia, not only is it ivermectin, remember hydrochloroquine. In the case of -45, bleach. I mean, all of these things. And now I want you to pay very close attention to how that narrative is now going to start changing, right? Because see, now in the state of Mississippi, Governor Reeves, according to Mississippians, has been almost non-existent, absent for 2.5 weeks. And we're talking about the executive of the state. For 2.5 weeks, you don't hear anything about him. And then what is going on in the state of Mississippi right now? The Mississippi hospital system is absolutely taxed to the max, to the point that they're now needing to send people to other states to try to get treatment. So when asked these questions, and think about this to any and everybody so that we can all remember this. When you ask the Republicans at the early part of it, including -45, who sent this message out, do you believe in the vaccination? No. Do you believe in masks? No. Do you believe in wearing masks? No. And now today, do you believe that we should send our children back to the schools? Absolutely yes. So the governor of Mississippi for the last 2.5 weeks has been absent in the face of clear and present danger in my home state of Mississippi. That's the type of leadership that we're now getting. And so even back when you think about Trump was at a rally a day or so ago. And what did he say? He said the same thing. And now you're going to hear these governors say it. When it comes to vaccination, hey, you know, maybe you should get the vaccination. It's your choice. It's your freedom. But I did. So not even the messaging is clear about how absolutely dangerous and reckless they have been, and how dangerous this virus is, especially this new variant, when they talk about the ease at which it can now be transferred from person to person. But here's the leadership of the country, of the states, putting out this half-hearted, trying to straddle the fence. And the only reason they're trying to straddle the fence, George and Ben, is because they know that there is a historical record of what positions they took.
That's right.
And trust and believe, as children start dying, and children have died in Mississippi because of COVID, that is directly on the hands of Governor Reeves of the state of Mississippi.
Brother Mac, you hit on so many things right there. But as much as they like to change the record of history, you know, they're caught in 4K. This is in high resolution. We have all the details. We have all the clips. History is going to forever record Senator Rand Paul submitting false information in the record of the United States of America that helped him profit privately at the expense of lives. So there's a record. And then also there's the monster that Donald Trump unleashed at that same rally that you discussed, where he said, yeah, get the vaccine. I got it. The audience booed him, meaning that now the monster that they created has outgrown the creator. And Absolutely. So here they are. Here, the Republican Party, here they are dealing with people who are so committed to the narrative that they created on Fox News and in the negative 45's administration, such that they refuse to get the vaccine, which is literally the only thing that's keeping people from life and death. But they're instead taking horse, whatever that is that they're taking, because it is, I mean, the absurdity of it all. It is so ridiculous, yet it is the norm on that side of the equation.
You guys, I want you to take a look at the FDA's response to this. They actually went on their social media to address the uptick in the amount of people who have been taking ivermectin. If you look here, you can see they said, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Seriously, y'all, stop it." And they went on to detail what ivermectin has been approved for and what it has not been approved for. Typically, in cases of humans, if ivermectin, the human version, was prescribed, it would be to address parasitic worms or to treat external parasites like head lice, or even skin conditions like rosacea. So this is a reach. It is definitely fake news. If you're encountering people who are suggesting that you take ivermectin, you should definitely do your research on it. But, you know, at the top of the segment, I mentioned how people are becoming desperate. This isn't the only desperate measure that we're seeing people take in terms of responding to this pandemic. I want you guys to take a look at some individuals who are going as far as falsifying their vaccine documents. Take a look.
A South Florida couple busted at an airport in Hawaii. Investigators say they were using fake vaccination cards to enter the state.
I spoke to a special agent with the Hawaii Attorney General's office. He tells me they take these cases very seriously and that they use different methods to determine whether or not a vaccination card is real.
Because we're spiking, we take it very serious.
Officials with the Hawaii Attorney General's office are cracking down on fake COVID-19 vaccination cards. Just last week, Enzo and Daniela Dalmazo from Miami Beach traveled to the island, and authorities say they had fake cards for themselves and their 2 children.
The screener at the airport, when they came through, noticed an anomaly about the age of the children and the vaccine, and that's how we got involved.
The complaint shows the Dalmazos provided COVID-19 vaccination information for 2 minors born in 2016 and 2017. Only children 12 and older are currently eligible to get the COVID shot.
It's a misdemeanor, so it's up to a $5,000 fine and a year in jail if convicted.
To visit Hawaii, however, full vaccination is not a requirement. You can also present a negative COVID test taken 72 hours before your trip. The Dalmazos were the second known case of visitors to Hawaii who allegedly used fake vaccination cards. This couple posted bail on August 13th.
Okay, so not only are you dumb enough to falsify your vaccine records, but you're dumb enough to give them to your children who aren't even old enough to get the vaccine yet? Seriously?
Georgia,
go ahead,
man.
Brother Mac. No, Brother Mac, I'm going to yield to you. Go ahead.
So listen, I want to go back to one other point, Georgia. When we were going down the list of people, and I said even the manufacturer said that, ivermectin is not intended for this use. Now, that manufacturer is Merck. And I want you to keep in mind, I know a little bit about Merck when I was executive director of the National Society of Black Engineers. The CEO of Merck was a Black man named Ken Frazier, right? And now Ken Frazier has stepped down, and the new CEO is a brother named Robert Davis. That's right, a brother named Robert Davis. So when you have not only these valid scientific institutions telling you not to take this, you go to quote unquote, excuse the pun, the horse's mouth with ivermectin being a horse dewormer. But when you go and get this from the source, that this is not what we manufactured this for. and you still go down that line to do that. It's absolutely crazy. And now when it comes to these folks falsifying documents, this is why I think even when we look at how do we get this under control, I think that Biden needs to flex even more than he did, especially with the FDA coming out and approving this. Biden can absolutely mandate, as commander-in-chief, the military and all governmental officials, federal government officials, he can do that with. He can also do that, just like we can absolutely put a mandate on you having to be vaccinated to come into this country or to leave the country. Right. He can do the same thing with interstate travel. And we need to be able to do this. So just like the official in Hawaii said, look, we're beginning to spike here, so we take this extremely serious. And you're going to see people, look at the tasks that people are willing to go to, the levels they're willing to go to. They're willing to take, hydrochloroquine, ivermectin, falsify cards, when you can just simply walk down and get a free vaccination that has been proven to work. But why won't people do this? Because they're still following, as you said, Brother Ben, they created this monster. -45 and the Republicans created this monster, and they cannot get this monster under control.
Yeah. And in regard to these folks on the screen, it's funny because they didn't actually have a problem that they had to solve. They could have got into Hawaii without vaccination cards in period. So while they would reject your offer, Brother Mac, to just come down the aisle and receive your vaccination, because to them, that is a temptation of the Antichrist, right? To them, this is the mark of the beast. And so that offer they would refuse. But then why are you creating delirium around an issue that, quite frankly, you all have won on? You can get into the state with a COVID-19 negative test. Instead, they created a solution to a problem that didn't exist, because it's not about the problem that exists. It's about the fact that they're chasing something. They have to be after something. They have to do something instead of the simple thing, which is to get the vaccine, right? The solution is simple. Get the vaccine. But instead, they create this entire fantasy where now they have to convince themselves that their children at 5 years old can get a vaccine that is only for 12-year-olds and up.
But Ben, think about you and Georgia both think, and let us not forget how we started this show. These people are tuning into a source that they think is credible. Mm-hmm. And I'll say it again. All of those folks at Fox News who put out this absolutely erroneous information that could lead to folks dying should absolutely be held. I don't know why the FCC don't pull their license for this type of situation. That's right. So just like now, when you start talking about the fact that are mandating. So now you got corporations, not the FDA, has come out and do this, and, has approved the drugs, the vaccinations. They're saying right now, at one point, they didn't want to mandate taking the vaccinations because they didn't want to mess with personal liberties. But now we're getting to a point where we're talking about a health crisis in this country. So when you have a news network on the FCC license who is putting out this type of reckless information, I am without doubt that their license need to be absolutely pulled, because, again, we're not talking about whether or not somebody stole the election. We're talking a once-in-a-lifetime situation that is taking the lives of nearly 1 million, at least 750,000 people in this country. And this is the organ, and they are allowed, through their reckless behavior, to use their platform to push this type of erroneous news. The FCC needs to come down on all of them.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I know both of you have alluded to the FDA approving at least one of the vaccines. I want to talk about that with the time that we have left. Some people saying that it happened too quickly, and just a lot of questions surrounding the Pfizer vaccine being approved by the FDA. Let's take a listen to the latest on this report.
FDA just giving full approval to Pfizer's COVID vaccine. It's the first vaccine to get that full approval, and in record time, too. That has critics asking if the process was rushed. Was it? Well, let's bring in Admiral Brett Giroir, former Health and Human Services Assistant Secretary, and of course, he was our testing czar. So tell us a little bit, sir, about what this moment means to get full approval.
Well, this is a very big moment in Operation Warp Speed history, in the history of our vaccines, our fight against the pandemic. Prior to this, we had emergency use authorization. What that really meant is that the public health benefits outweighed the known and potential harms. What this says today is we know the benefits, we know the harms, and this vaccine is safe and effective, and every confidence can be given to that. Americans should feel very good, even better than they did yesterday, about getting the vaccine.
Yeah, what took so long?
Well, it is a complicated process, and I know there are many, many good professionals, incredible professionals at the FDA. I was acting commissioner. It does take a while because all the data is looked at in detail. You know, every page is turned, the facilities are inspected.
And I know this was a report by Brother Mac's favorite media outlet, who we just heard there. What took so long? You know, even in situations where we're seeing progress in terms of dealing with this pandemic, Fox News makes it an opportunity to, just pick at the process and the system and the integrity, because with the host there saying what took so long, to me, it just kind of left me with this thought that it should have happened faster, but the FDA has to do their due diligence and make sure that the vaccine is safe for everyone.
Absolutely. But Georgia, and listen, again, you could absolutely see the hypocrisy of these criminals over at Fox News. She asked a question about what took so long for the FDA approval. But Trump's coronavirus czar also said to you in that same messaging that we created the vaccine in Operation, quote, warp speed. So you being a Trekkie, I'm sure you can understand. So everybody, if you could go back and remember when the coronavirus first hit, people were talking about the standard time to create a vaccine. And we should really just be getting the vaccine based on history's time of it. But because everybody understood the impending danger, everybody focused their efforts on it. And that's how we got the vaccine in a, quote, record time. But to your point, Georgia, when the FDA, when the CDC and all of these people, when they look at any vaccines that are coming out, it is incumbent that they do their due diligence to make sure that they can look at what are the benefits of it, what are the harmful sides of it, what are the benefits of it, which is why they haven't all of a sudden said, we can now give this to children at a certain age, because they just don't know the data. And that is the one thing that I do appreciate about. I listened to an interview with Fauci yesterday, and they asked Fauci about, how many people have to be vaccinated before we can get this under control. And his answer was absolutely brilliant. He said, listen, because we have not ever gotten this thing under control, we don't know what the number is. We're still trying to figure that out. And based on the idiocy and the criminalness of what these organizations are doing, like Fox News and the Republican Party, we may never know. We could have known probably a month or so ago when the vaccine first came out, if everybody had got behind this effort of trying to defeat this virus. But no, they had to keep it going. So to Fauci's point, we don't know. To the FDA's point, they don't know. That's why they have to take their time and do their due diligence with this.
Brother Mac, you pointed out that was Admiral Brett Giroir. I can't pronounce his last name, forgive me, but he was the czar for Donald Trump. And if you let that run, Dwayne, one more time, but when you get to the 3-shot, I want you to pause it because let me show you, Fox News, they are the masters of propaganda. When I tell you, I just peep game. I've been studying them for years. I just peep game. You can pause it here. On the right side, you have the first host. So go back for me. The right side, you have the first host who set up the premise that it came too fast. That's the first thing that she said. On the left side, you have the other host who said, what took so long?
What took so long?
In the middle, you have the synthesis, which is Operation Warp Speed. They've set up a negative dialectic right in front of us in real time to get a negative synthesis that simply says Donald Trump is the answer, but they don't have a positive outcome, which is go get the vaccine. Their outcome is neutral. Donald Trump is the answer, but, don't worry about getting the vaccine. It's your liberties. They're masters of propaganda.
Absolutely. And, to take that a step further, it's like, what took so long? Is it safe? All of these questions about an FDA approved vaccine, but go take Ivermectin. It will help you. It will save you.
Go take hydrochloroquine, go do these things. And again, this is why I so appreciate, Georgia, what you and Ben and what we're trying to do on this show is we're keeping an absolute record, because Ben, you asked a question, I don't know if it was in our private conversations or not, but 20 years from now, how is the story going to be told about what happened with this pandemic? And let the record be absolutely clear that -45 created this monster. His Republicans' minions carried that messaging. And as a result of it, what should have been a light at the end of the tunnel was a freight train that came to us. And even today, when we look at, the state of Texas, who now wants to try to blame black folks, the Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, wants to try to blame black folks. But look at what the state of Texas has done. The state of Texas has taken out any and all budget that deals with virtual learning. And who is now at the center of the bullseye for this new Delta variant? It's children. We're watching children being hospitalized at an absolutely enormous rate. And all of these governors, DeSantis, Reeves, all of them, let history report that you were the ones that said you didn't believe in vaccinations. You were the ones that said you didn't believe in wearing masks. You don't even believe in masks. You believe in personal freedoms. Florida is a free state. Well, Florida could be a free deadly state, which is what it is now, DeSantis. Reeves, right now, you are MIA in my home state of Mississippi. When your hospital system has been maxed out. Why? Because Reeves, you were the one that carried -45's messaging. You were the one that ignored what all the scientists and what the experts said about this situation. And you did it for political reasons. You all have done all of this for political reasons. And you criminals at Fox News, these deaths, they are on your hands. Let the record be clear. Little Charlie Kirk, you were the one that paid for the insurrection. We're familiar with you, all of you. And we're going to keep a record on all of you because you're all on the clock.
On the clock. I felt that.
Any final thoughts?
I felt that one. No, I felt that in my shine, and I'm good. We good.
You guys definitely make sure that you are crossing your T's and dotting your I's with this, because there are hippies in saunas at the gym telling you that you should take Ivermectin. Okay. And you can't believe what you hear on Fox News. We've seen too many cases, just even here on this show. We talk about it consistently. Fox News putting out rhetoric, and Ben, your analysis was spot on. That wasn't even something I observed. You have the one host saying what took so long, and the other host saying that it happened too fast. So you can't win for losing with them. And maybe we need to have another call out where we invite people to reach out to the FCC about their license.
Listen, Ben, think about what YouTube did when all of a sudden something ain't right. They are absolutely shut you down.
Oh, yeah.
Shut you down. But in this case with the FCC, I'm calling you out, FCC. You're comparable. You're sitting here watching. You got so much documentation of the false news and what has been a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic that has taken so many American lives. And you're not holding these fools responsible for the recklessness of what they put out there? Because even when you look at the one study that was done on ivermectin, there was one credible study done on it. And that one study had to be pulled because they found out that the data was fake. And even the introduction of it was plagiarized. So you mean to tell me a cat like me could be sitting here? I'm no journalist. I'm no investigative reporter. But if I can come to that understanding, you mean to tell me that with all the big money that Fox News has, the researchers, everything that they have at their disposal, that you cannot hold them accountable? This is what white privilege looks like in this country, FCC, because trust and believe, if I was sitting in that position, I would absolutely take them off the clock.
Well, and we are off the clock. We're at time, but for those of you watching, stick around for more on the Benjamin Dixon Show.